what's up guys? What was going to be a really quick video turned into a semi-long video, but not a lot of me in the video. You see, what happened is, I wanted to do an update about the division and the state of it, what's going on over there, because we haven't talked about that for a while. And surfing through YouTube, checking my feeds like I do every day, I found a pretty phenomenal discussion amongst some well-respected and well-known YouTubers. So I pulled some highlights from those conversations. I put a little bit of radio static between each clip, so you know where one clip ends and a new one begins, because I'm not trying to put words in anybody's mouth. But I thought they did a really fantastic job of putting it all in perspective and really bringing the general emotion of the content creators community and the regular community. They really represented what we're all feeling really well. So I pulled the highlights from those clips, and I'm just going to play them for you guys, and I can't say it any better than they did. I will say this though, and not to pat myself on the back, because the only reason I knew when I did my review of closed and open beta and I expressed my concerns and had said I really hoped they would fix the holes in the coding before it went to market, is because I've seen it happen in GTA. Basically, it's a confirmation. It's a validation wall. And player earns thing, validation wall validates it, player now attains thing. Well, GTA lacked that in the coding, thus we had car dupes, money dupes, God mode, and we're seeing it all happen again in Division. And a bunch of people have asked me, do I think Division will survive? Yes, I do. I think it'll survive, but sadly, I don't ever think it will thrive. And it could have. It had all the ingredients, it had the foundation, all the makings, everything was there for it to be a legendary franchise, and they're just kind of flushing it down the shitter with a lot of really bad decisions. So without babbling on anymore, I will cut into these clips, but just let me say before we start these, don't forget to look down in the description box, because each person's channel will be linked along with a link to the specific conversations, and I encourage you to go watch them in their entirety so you can check them out in full context.
What I mean by that is, if you exploit in a Blizzard game, right, you are going to get banned. And that's it. It's going to get rolled back. You're going to get banned. Forget about it. Whereas here, I think in the Division, they're taking a very different approach, where cheaters get only a 3-day ban at the beginning. And then they get, obviously, exploiters currently are not being punished at all. You know, so you could have found an entire set of gear, and it looks like you are not going to get punished for that, and you are going to hold on to that. And I think that the overall impact of that approach is actually, I think, more damaging than the bugs themselves, right? I mean, let's say, for instance, in an ideal world, let's say that there were no exploits in the game right now. Big question, incursions. Would you guys be playing the incursion right now? Do you like it? What if not, why not? What are your general thoughts? Maybe, Tash, do you want to kick us off on this one?
Yeah, I'll take it here. I wouldn't be playing them. I'd play them about 1 or 2 times. Some of the raids in Destiny are some of the most well-done raids that I've played in a long time. Vault of Glass is great. King's Fall is pretty darn fun. And the incursion feels so bland and boring. I cannot do it. I have to be playing with friends that are willing to joke and have fun, and we can converse the entire time, or I want to just turn the game off. It's so boring. It's wave after wave of, for the most part, tanky enemies or shotgunners rushing you. The challenge mode is... I mean, yes, you can do it, but for the most part, for most players, it's impossible, because it's just so bullet spongy. They hit so hard. It's not even fun. You have to camp in a corner the whole time. So the incursion alone doesn't feel like a fun experience. When you beat it, it's not like, yes, we did it. We figured out all the mechanics. It was awesome. It's just like, all right, well, we luckily survived this time. We didn't get one banged, and now let's go get some loot. So
Sure.
I don't personally like it.
You know, as much as there is that weird divide where you've got guys who've got huge, ridiculous health bars who are in hoodies, but, you know, that's whatever.
Yeah.
Let's take that point aside for a second, and let's just acknowledge that the context of the incursion, you say the enemies are boring, and yeah, there's a good reason for that. How many times is it going to be entertaining to shoot a guy with a huge health bar when he isn't some kind of god from the universe of WoW, or at least some kind of crazy soldier of the Horde, or when there isn't some kind of other context which gives you something which you can look past?
No, I hear you.
That I'll agree with.
Yeah, that I'll agree with. But no, I don't find a very good narrative reason to engage with, this is an APC that I'm killing. Whereas if I go into something in Destiny, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, okay, yes, this guy is also a massive health bar, but there is context because this is someone called Crota, son of Oryx, who I've been told is a god. And it's like, okay, so we have reasons, and there's a context that allows more interesting mechanics to appear. When I look at Falcon Lost, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, so what's the health meter of the APC? Okay, so what's our progress in other ways? For me, the waves, if they could have something like what you're saying, Tash, like distinctive enemies, or points at which, let's say you do get the APC down to a certain level of health, you have something that's even more distinctive than happens than just the drones.
Is that some people, especially I saw some news sites sort of doing it before launch, is that they were kind of likening this to a raid, and I said right from the start that
It's
an activity,
not a raid. Yeah.
it's never going to be a raid. I feel like we might get them at some point, but an activity that has the penalty of restart on death would never be a raid, right? You wouldn't go through you wouldn't get to the end of King's Fall, you wouldn't get to the end of a World of Warcraft raid and be like, ha, you died, you got to go start again. It'd be like, no. So I'm all in favor of things being rare, but it got to the point now where I've now started, if I see a high-end drop, I don't really go over and check it, because I'm like, it's not going to be better than what I've got, and I've started leaving it behind. It was already bad before with superior items, where I would just run past purples and I'll be streaming and people will be like, why are you not going to go and check that? I'm like, it's not going to be good. I'm not going to check it.
Have a bit of a conversation around PvP in this game. So again, assuming that everything worked perfectly and there were no hackers, and the game was sort of like where it should be, is there actually PvP in this game? Because I've heard a lot of people say that PvP in the Dark Zone isn't quite what it should be. So Tash, have you done much PvP in the Dark Zone? What do you think of it?
I did a bunch, but it's just honestly constant griefing no matter how you look at it. So you're going to run into a whole bunch of situations, even if you're a solo player who's good, well gear, you're either going to dominate people. I have videos out there where I 1v4, 1v6 consistently. I mean, yes, I use Survivor Link, but if you're well geared, in most situations, there's always going to be a point where you're in a dark zone, no one can compete with you. Then there's going to be situations where you enter a dark zone, whether you're solo or you're in a group, and you're going to be up against people that you can't compete with. And there's not many opportunities for there to be an even playing field.
Now, for me, the Division needs to evolve before it's going to be a game that I can enjoy again.
It can be quite difficult to cover two games at that elite level in the way that I kind of want to do it. So, the Division, Destiny with their update kind of took priority. I am totally fine with just waiting, and if I get some more free time, if my friends want to get back into it again, if they improve everything, if they fix the exploits, and they make it a more fun experience, or an experience that I actively want to go do, then I'll hop right back in. I got no problem with that. But for now, I will do what I can to try and get back into it. But it's definitely not as high of a priority as I thought it was going to be at this point in the game's life.
So, Tash, what do you think, buddy?
I'm kind of on the same page as the other guys. It's not a job. No game is a job. If you're not enjoying it, move on, do something else, and come back later if you enjoy it again. And with the Division, I think early on I wanted to make guides to try and help people out that don't understand why crit damage and crit chance might be good. So I'm probably going to put it away for a bit. I'm going to let the people that want to grind it out, and then hopefully right before the next expansion, I can find some friends that are really geared, can easily do challenge mode, and hopefully, get a little carry to the loot, grind it out for a bit, and then kind of catch up when hopefully they've fixed a lot of the issues in the game.
And then if they can basically, what they need to do for the next one is smash it out of the park, launch it with ideally no bugs, no glitches, so then everyone has to play it legitimately, and then everyone continues leveling at a regular pace, and then hopefully it will restore a lot of order to the game, right? It means the Dark Zone will be back to being as balanced as it can be.
It has to do with Ubisoft's stance is simply too soft on hackers. So what they do, if they catch a cheater in the Division, they don't wipe his stats. They give him a 3-day timeout, they come back to the game, and maybe they'll get a permaban down the line. Well, the detection is so bad that there are people that have had hundreds of thousands of views of them being exposed by various YouTubers, the same hackers, and they still haven't been suspended and or banned, which is absolutely horrific. These people that are on countless streams and YouTube videos and are just flying around one-shotting people, nothing's being done. Of up to 65% of the people stop playing after the first week. This affects console players too. So everybody knows about the Falcons Lost, get out of the map glitch, or basically glitch through any wall in the Dark Zone. We've seen countless rogues do it, abusing the rogue system. They'll go rogue or manhunt, and they'll just shield through a wall. Or they get to Falcons Lost, and they just shield through the map, get out of the map, and start bombing the APC with explosive stuff, right? But there's a new thing that's come around. This actually does affect console players. And in the last video I did, there's a lot of comments, well, on my console, that's not going to affect me, X Factor. We don't have hackers and exploiters and glitchers. Well, now you do, and it just acts just like a hack. So now, thanks to the talent systems being broken in the Division, and I'm going to explain my broken talent system. Well, I found out that after making a mistake and not equipping the right AUG, the one that actually brings my alt back, as you can see, the one that has only 173 DPS on it before I equip it, it was actually still bringing back my alt with my primary AUG. So, the talents are broken, especially if you have the same gun. Now, the question is, how deep does that go? Can you carry 3 or 4 AUGs and get all those talents? Well, I can tell you this. I could have my Uber recharge, my ultimate recharge, by using my primary AUG. The one that's got crazy DPS and the stats that you really want. Now you've got guys that can get competent on their weapon. They do this quick switching thing, and their DPS starts scaling. That's the talent where if you pop some sort of skill, a heal or a pulse or even your ultimate, you have increased your damage by 13% by 10 seconds. Well, they're quick switching it, they're popping it, and you can read about it online. There's a ton of different articles, there's a ton of different tweets, and there's also videos of people two-shotting the APC with explosive rounds. So not only could they get out of the map for Falcons Lost and do a bunch of sticky bombs, but now they can pop explosive rounds and two-shot it. It's doable on console. So now on Xbox and PS4, you guys can get hit with guys that have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 million damage AKs or even pistols. Guarantee you this game has combat logging. Guarantee you Ubisoft really hasn't done anything about that, because obviously that'd be a way for them to detect and take care of the current people that are problematic on the PC side. So going back to this Falcons Lost thing, that's supposedly getting fixed for like the 2nd or 3rd time. You're not getting 214s. You'll never see a 240. And the set pieces that drop are Nomad. And come to find out, the source code for the game was leaked. They broke it down, and scavenging is absolutely useless unless you want greens and purples. It does nothing to give you better golds or better chance for a set piece or better stats on your gold or better stats on your weapon. Nah, nothing. Who wants blues and greens and purples after you just neutered the crafting of this game? So let's keep talking about the exploits and glitches that are available in the game, because it gets better. Now, there's a way to duplicate mats. Countless mats. Not Gold Division tech, that's the only saving grace there, but Think about countless fabric. Think about countless electronics. Think about countless tools and weapon parts. Now you can just keep rolling things that don't require the DT and get a pretty kick-ass weapon. So that is a massive problem. How about currency to re-roll things? Well, there's a way to duplicate that now, and you can do it on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. Well, if I were to utilize that exploit, I could have $1 million or $2 million within a kill or two on mobs. That's absolutely nuts. And they talked about actually having loot tables for named bosses. Now, according to the source code that was leaked and data mined, that's not the case at all. So the Dark Zone is a complete mess. The game is an absolute complete mess. These exploits and the bad crafting and everything is stacking up. The game is circling the toilet. It's not looking good. And it has me really, really sad. Do I walk away for a month? Could this game get better in a couple months? Absolutely. But right now, the developers don't seem to be showing any sort of urgency. The communication is slowly starting to die between the developers and, of course, us as the consumers. And that is the wrong thing to do. This game had all the potential, and it's an absolute sack of potatoes, and it's getting worse.
And there you go, guys. Very eloquently said, and I feel like they covered it in great detail, the current and future state of Division, and it's not looking real good. I will return there when I feel like the Dark Zone is, I don't want to say safe, because the Dark Zone is not really meant to be safe, but I'll return when I feel like it is fair again. And unless and until that happens, and the very, very poor mechanics they have thrown on us after selling us a completely different product, when they correct all those things, if they correct all those things, I'll return. But I thought those were some fantastic clips and some really, really great conversation covering the game, so I want to share that with you guys. Again, don't forget to check the description box for everyone's channel and the individual conversations. Drop by my website, www.baltimoredude.com. You can click on all my various social networks from there. Hopefully we can get the audio situation sorted out soon and get our studio mic back up and running so we don't have to use these half-ass microphones. But I'm not going to quit making content in the meantime. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Same time, same place. Sound good? It's a date? Alright, thanks for watching, guys.